Welcome to Jackets TV, presented by Ohio Health. I'm Bob McElligott, and I'm joined right now by the Blue Jackets' #1 draft pick in 2016, Pierre-Luc Dubois. Pierre-Luc, first of all, welcome to Columbus for development camp. Your 18th birthday was last Friday night. Is it fair to say the best birthday present that you've gotten so far in your life was when you were picked by the Blue Jackets 3rd overall?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it started off the day with being with my family and everything from Atlanta, so that was fun. Never get to see them, so, and then went to the draft and haven't any expectations, but it was my birthday, so when I heard my name called by the Blue Jackets, it was pretty special.
Okay, you say you had no expectations, but throughout the process, and this has been really a year-long process, when you're in that draft-eligible year, people are talking about you, your name pops up all over the place, but as you get closer and closer, then there's a lot more chatter. Did you have any idea that you might be going that high?
My agent was telling me, just be ready when they announce the 3rd pick. It might be you and everything. And he told me that the Blue Jackets had interest in me. But I mean, I just went there, and whatever happened was going to happen, and I was going to work hard for the rest of it.
When you have to go through the combine and the interview process, obviously it's not just the Blue Jackets; it's many teams. What kind of questions do you get asked by teams when you go through that?
Honestly, they're pretty much all the same questions. The question that came up the most was probably which position I'd rather play, center or wing. At first, I was a little nervous, a little shy with the meetings, but I know as the week went on, I got better and better.
Let's talk about that. You were a winger. You moved to center about halfway through the year. All of a sudden, people are saying, hey, this guy can be a center in the NHL. Did that surprise you?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I never played center before this year, so it was a completely new position. I learned fast, and I really like playing center. If I had to have to choose a position now, it would probably be center. I think in the long run, I could play center in the NHL.
It's funny how it works in this league. You'll have guys that are centers throughout their entire junior career. They come here, and coaches tend to put them on the wing sometimes to let them get adjusted to the defensive part of the game. And that is the big thing at center, isn't it? Having to play the 200-foot game.
Yeah, of course. You have a lot of responsibilities, helping your defensemen out, helping the wingers on breakout. You look at guys like Brandon Dubinsky, who plays the two-way game. It's really hard to play. You have to be mature, you have to be responsible defensively too, but you have to produce offensively. So it's not easy, but it's really helpful for a team that wants to win. You
bring up Brandon Dubinsky, who does play the 200-foot game. He also likes to play it with a little bit of an edge. That's something you can do too if you have to, right?
Yeah. I mean, I like to be hard to play against, and I'm not scared about going in the corners, hitting, getting hit, blocking shots and stuff like that. I like to play with an edge. I like to play physical, and it's a big part of my game.
Your dad was a coach, so you grew up son of a coach, coaching in junior hockey. Just that experience of having your dad there, being around the game, being around players, what did that do for you growing up?
I think it helped a lot. I was always in the rink. After games, I'd always go behind in the room and go with the guys. So, I look at probably 4 years ago when he was in Rimouski and they had Sam Morin, Fred Gauthier, and all those guys that went first round. And I mean, just looking at them, how do they prepare for games, how they prepare for the draft, it helped a lot for this year.
And that, a lot of guys could be there and not take that all in. Was it important to you, and as your career was developing, to make sure that you did watch that and that you knew how to approach it this year?
I've always been in the rink since I was a little kid. I'd spend every day at the rink just watching, video with my dad, going on the ice, watching the guys get ready for the game and stuff like that. It was just fun for me. So, I mean, I remember, a couple of days I was in the gym with them, just watching them work out, helping them and stuff like that, because it was just, what I like to do.
Now, I read a story, tell me if this is true, that one summer your dad actually took your stick away for like a month because he wanted you out of the rink and he didn't want you playing.
Yeah, that's true. I played summer hockey, and I think we ended like in May, and I just wanted to go back on the ice like probably a week later, but he didn't want me to, and I tried to go play like at the park or something with my friends, and he was like, no, take a break, just go play baseball, go play soccer, just do something else for a month.
Did you play a different sport for a month?
Yeah. My mom, she's from Atlanta, so I mean, my cousin's baseball, I like soccer. I like basketball, tennis, and other sports. I'd play other sports for a month, make him happy, and then go back to hockey.
What is it about this game that brings so much passion for you?
I think it's the compete level and, the passion you have to put in the game. If you don't have any passion, you're not going to win. And growing up in elementary school, the school was like 30 seconds of walk from the rink. So every lunch, I'd go to the rink. My dad would heat my lunch. I'd tie my skates, I'd eat at the same time, and then when I was done, I'd go on the ice for about an hour, and then he'd come back and tell me, okay, you have to go back to school. I've lived in hockey, all my life, and it's just my passion.
Another thing that you're very passionate about is the things outside of the rink. We're talking about how much you love to spend time on the ice, but the outside factors too. And I know in Cape Breton you do a lot of things, whether it be Boys and Girls Club, whether it be autograph signings, just getting out into the community. Why is that so important to you?
I don't want to be just a hockey player. I want to be a good person, a good person in the community and everything. And when I was a kid, I think this is why. When I was a kid, growing up with being a coach's son, I looked up to the players a lot. My dream was to meet NHL players, JHL players, everything. So now that I'm in that situation, I know how the kids feel, and just a big part of who I want to be and who I am, and it's just important to give back to the community.
So you're here for this development camp. This camp is one thing. There's another much bigger camp coming in September for you, I know, but just this first experience, what's it been like for you? Come to Columbus, walk into the building, put on that Blue Jackets uniform. What's it been like?
It's been really fun, meeting guys like Milano. There's a couple guys here, Dubinsky's here, Jenner's here, Jones. Seeing Columbus a little bit more. I came here right after the combine, but I barely saw it, so it's been really a really good time.
I noticed right after you got drafted, a couple of guys sent out tweets too. Dubinsky, Foligno, Werenski, the happy birthday and congratulations tweet. What does that mean to you when guys, these are bona fide NHLers, and Werenski is going to be, but you look at that and you see those guys like welcoming you with open arms. How's that feel?
Feels amazing. It's really fun to see guys like that pay attention to the draft and stuff like that. And one day I hope to be their teammate. So it's just really fun to get that happy birthday wish or something like that.
All right, let's go there. One day you want to be their teammates. When is that one day going to be? Do you have any idea if you can do it this year or if it's going to be a work in progress?
I'm working hard. My goal is to make the team next year. I'm working hard right now. When I get back to Montreal, I'm going to go back to the gym and work hard. I think I can be ready next year. The fact that I can play all 3 forward positions, any situation I could play. I'm good on forecheck. My play without the puck is good, and I'm responsible defensively. So I think I can play next year. But it's really up to the Blue Jackets.
Now, up to the Blue Jackets, but up to you. And it sounds like with that hard work ethic that you've had instilled in you ever since you've been a kid, you've got a great opportunity. Pierre-Luc, thank you very much. It's great to meet you, and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
That is Blue Jackets' first round pick, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and I'm Bob McElligott for Jackets TV, presented by Ohio Health.